Wisecracks, Tidbits to Mentally Munch On by Robin Ray. Title: Love Thy Neighbor, They May Save Your Life. The title of this story could have read like this: Tragedy, Orange County woman dies of hypothermia in July in California. Fortunately, the story did not end up like that, I say gratefully. I'm really glad I made friends with my neighbor. When I first moved into the area I now live, I met many of the neighbors in the first few weeks. One of those neighbors was a young man in his late 20s. He was welcoming and approachable, and as time went on, he and one of his friends and I would walk a few minutes or miles once a week for some much-needed exercise and good conversation. Then one day, I was in a car accident. My car was damaged on the front end. The other car was a big heavy Jeep, so it did not get damaged, and no one appeared hurt. So we exchanged information and drove away. I drove my car directly to the body shop to be repaired, and then I rented a vehicle to drive while mine was being taken care of. 2 days later, I had a tire problem with the rental car. I took the rental car to a tire shop to be repaired, but they were very busy and they said it would take a few hours to fix. Since it was close to my home, I decided to walk home and wait for them to finish. As I was walking, all of a sudden I felt intense pain in my neck and my lower back. The pain was devastating. It was all I could do to get to my friend's place, who was nearby. I sat at her home, but the pain did not go away, so I called my doctor's office, who recommended a chiropractor. I was diagnosed with what they call a whiplash, or a sprain or strain in my neck and lower back. The chiropractor treated me and told me to reduce the pain, I should ice my neck and lower back for 20 minutes every hour. He gave me a large ice pack for the lower back and a cervical ice pack for my neck. Boy, was I happy to hear I could get some relief from that pain. Later that day, my neighbor contacted me regarding our weekly walk, and I told him I could not go to walk due to the accident. He came over to see if I needed anything before he left to go have fun for the evening. I was resting with my ice packs, and I reassured him I would be okay. He left to go have fun, and I sat and I continued my vigil on my pain management. The next morning, I woke up in pain. So I went to the freezer and I got out the ice packs. About 2 hours later, my neighbor came over to see how I was doing. I told him I felt a little funny. My whole back was getting colder and colder, even though I did not have the ice packs on it. I decided to go out to my front porch to warm up in the sun. To get the direct sun on my back, I leaned over the entrance gate to feel that July summer heat radiate over my cold back. My neighbor came out to the porch to see what I was doing, and all of a sudden I realized I could not move. I could not move my body from the gate. I was paralyzed. I told him I could not move, and he shouted, "Let go of the gate!" I tried with all my might to overcome this feeling of being paralyzed. My body finally released from the gate, and I had no control, and I fell backwards towards the deck of the porch. My neighbor quickly got behind me, took a knee, and caught my head before it struck the ground. He then sat me in a chair on my deck, and I fell asleep. It was a beautiful, peaceful, deep sleep. Then I began to hear a faint voice. It was telling me to wake up. The voice got louder and louder as I started to awaken. I realized it was my neighbor talking to me. He saw that I was awake, and with a concerned look on his face, he asked me if I was okay. I smiled at him and I thanked him for talking to me to wake me up, to which he replied, "I wasn't just talking. I was shaking your shoulders as I was talking to you." I realized I had only heard his voice. I never had felt him shake me at all. He helped me into the house, and I gave him a big hug and appreciation. I said to him, "You know, we are bonded for life now." He looked at me with a question in his eyes. And I said, "Well, you saved my life. We're like family now." He smiled and sat with me a while to make sure I was okay. We talked on the phone later that night. I thanked him again for being there for me. I expressed to him that I thought what had happened was I had all the symptoms of hypothermia. He confessed it was a very scary situation for him, and he felt like he really didn't know what to do. I reassured him he did everything right. His instincts kicked in, and he knew what to do when he needed to. After telling this story many times, I realized there were so many things that could have happened. But there is one thing for sure that I'm really glad I did, and that was I made friends with my neighbor. So, my friends, I hope that you can love thy neighbor and live in peace. Until the next time.